You know something about me? I love, 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 love bats. I'm a big fan of bats. Check this out. Sorry. Let me scroll up to the top here. Eek. This is a collaboration. EcoWatch is sharing this from Yes Magazine. Bat populations are shrinking. Here are a few ways to help. So the bat population is shrinking. And here's what the article says. Now, bats are more than just a cool-looking creature that I find fascinating, and a lot of people find fascinating. They actually do a lot of good things for humans, which this article talks about. So check this out. This is by Alexa Peters. October is a time for bats as the crisp air, fall air descends. Plastic bat, blah, 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 blah. All right. Truth be told, bats are essential to humans. Without them, we probably wouldn't have such things like avocados, chocolate, and tequila. Parties would suck without bats in so many ways. No avocados, no tequila, I think California would just give up. No avocados, no tequila, stop there. No chocolate, California's done. We're giving up. We're just gonna, I guess we're just Oregon now. I don't know what we're gonna do. Bats keep California weird. And bats help keep Austin weird. Austin, Texas. Austin wants to stay weird. There's a bunch of bats that fly out from under the bridge in Austin, Texas. If you're ever in Austin, Texas, and you like bats, I recommend checking it out. Right? I think it's the 10th Street Bridge. Don't quote me on that, but you can Google it pretty easily. But right around the time the sun goes down, a bunch of bats fly out, and you can see them. That was one of the activities that I did in Austin the first time I was there. Because the first time I ever went to Austin, it was in the middle of summer. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was the middle of summer. So it was like, I think it was 112 was the average temperature the couple days I was there. It was brutal. So it was too hot to do anything. I just sat, fortunately in my friend's apartment complex, there was a pool. So I just spent all the time sitting in the pool, and then I would go out once the sun started to go down, and it was reasonable to go out and see stuff and do stuff. So, went and saw the bats, sat around eating some pizza, watching the bats fly. It was pretty groovy. But anyway, avocados, chocolate, and tequila. Of the more than 1,390 species of bats throughout the world, Bat Conservation International considers many of them keystone species because of their vital roles as seed dispersers and pollinators in our ecosystem. Plus, certain types of bats help control pesky insects like mosquitoes, as well as beetles and moths that destroy crops. So mosquitoes, beetles, moths, especially, hey, we're getting funkier and funkier mosquitoes, by the way. And we're getting some of them in various parts of the United States. There was something crazy going on up in Massachusetts with mosquitoes recently where they were carrying some kind of like crazy virus. It was like triple E or something like that. I remember when my fiance and I were up there. We were up there in Cape Cod not too long ago, and we were all scared. We were like, don't get bit by a mosquito because they're all carrying this virus that will kill you in a couple days. It was kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'm a little freaked out by that stuff. I'm not much of a nature guy. I'm not much of a camping guy. So I would always get freaked out whenever they would bring stuff like this up. Now, my fiance and her family, they used to run a campground. So they are very nature-esque, I guess. I don't even know if that's the right way to put it because I am not nature-esque. So they would freak me out. They'd be like, Ron, ticks, they're a thing. I'd be like, no, don't tell me this. Anyway, so the Bat Conservation Group estimates that their value to agriculture may be as high as $53 billion a year. So we're really screwed if bats ever unionize and start to demand living wages. We're screwed. We'd have to pay these bats a lot of money. So still, the 15 species of bats that are regional to the Pacific Northwest are suffering. Now, Yes Magazine is based up in Bainbridge Island, Washington. Researchers at Oregon State University have published a new study showing that the hoary bat, named for its unique frosted fur, has seen a steady population decline in the Pacific Northwest. Now, this is likely because of collisions with wind turbines. On top of that, some species, such as the little brown bat, may have been decimated from a mysterious disease called white nose syndrome. These issues are compounded by how few pups a bat has per year. I never knew you called their babies pups. I never knew that. I learned that today. I also learned the connection between chocolate, tequila, and avocados. I didn't know those specific things unique to bats. Here you go. Bat education with Ron. All right. So here's a couple things you can do to help the declining population of bats, especially if you're up in the Northwest, but if you're anywhere. Okay, so the first thing they recommend, educate about bats and start young. Saving bats and preserving the multitude of benefits they bring has to start with a narrative we tell about them. We need to understand what they are and aren't. Many see bats as flying rodents, when in fact, these dog-faced mammals are closely related to humans. Their wings, in fact, are a variation on the human hand. Ooh. So we tend to avoid bats because we fear them, or at least fear what they might be carrying, rabies. Yet, Dr. Thomas Rodhouse, lead researcher on the Oregon State study, says the risk of rabies is lower than you might think, especially if you learn the proper, respectable bat handling techniques. So rabies, not uncommon in bats, as most people think. All right, so we need to educate children about them. And there's many specimens of bats that are preserved for kids to see up close, which is really cool. Bat sanctuaries are also really... Now, I actually saw a fruit bat kind of sanctuary in the Northwest, actually. It was up in the Northwest where I saw this. Fruit bats are really, really neat. They almost do, like, they kind of have hands. And you can see them, like, they'll actually... I saw a fruit bat peeling a banana. And it was the most, like, they don't, like, totally peel it like a human would, but they kind of, like, they dig in, and then they'll like, stick their face. Someone's going to be able to make a meme out of that, what I just did. Holy shit. That's going to be a humiliating meme if anyone gets their hand on that, what I just did. Anyway, they'll be like, what was he doing there? They'll be like, believe it or not, he was imitating a fruit bat eating a banana. Why was Ron imitating a fruit bat eating a banana? It's Get Your News On with Ron. You never know what's going to happen. People tweet him stuff. He responds to it. Dude, and in this particular day, he was imitating a fruit bat eating a banana. That's what he was up to. All right, so educate the children. I'm all for that. You know, I was never very scientifically inclined as a youth. I never really, science class, I always thought it was kind of boring, because I wasn't ready to really open up to that stuff. Now I'm very fascinated by science. But bats, I was always into. Whenever there was a thing on bats, I would always really, really pay attention. I always liked bats. I was always fascinated by them. And I wonder why. Maybe because when I was a kid, there was a hero called Batman. That might have something to do with it. I also really like scary movies. Bats prominently featured in scary movies. Dracula. Bats. Bats have their place in pop culture. And if you're into that stuff, you're naturally going to be into bats. I know not all children are into that stuff, but some are. So I think bat education, smart way to go. All right, so now here's what they recommend. Also, number 2, recover and preserve bat habitats. Bats love river valleys where the insects on which they feast are most plentiful. So as a result, preserving the habitat there can be a key for strengthening bat resiliency. So river valleys, let's preserve them. This one's the most interesting. Check this out. Number 3, what they recommend you do, plan bat-friendly urban spaces. What is that? I didn't know until I saw this article. Check this out. Bats have learned how to use urban areas to their advantage. This is why we often encounter them using spaces in our homes and around other man-made structures such as bridges, like that bridge in Austin I was talking about. But by building awareness, we can accommodate bats in ways that help them thrive while also preventing an unexpected encounter. You know, bats are you don't want a bat like flying around your living room. I get that. That would probably freak me out a little bit, even though I'd be fascinated. It would probably freak Lucy out. She would probably try to catch the bat. I don't see that going well. I just don't, I don't want Lucy to wrestle a bat. I don't think she wants to wrestle a bat. Lucy, she's sleeping on the couch. Anyway, all right. So at home, installing bat boxes or smaller wooden bat houses deters bats from entering your home. Now, unfortunately, hoary bats don't use these. But for species in the area, such as the little brown bat, they can be a great way to promote peaceful coexistence. So you can install a bat box. I never knew that was a thing. Here, let's go to, and check this out. There is a website called batweek.org, and it gives you instructions on how to install a bat house. Here, we'll go to it next. Let's do the other 2 things, and then I'll show you guys this real quick. All right, so number 4, report bat sightings. Bats are elusive and hard to study. Species in the Pacific Northwest tend to hibernate. So if you see bats, let people know. So some of these conservation groups, some of these research groups can go and study bats. And now the 5th thing and last thing that they recommend here, support the efforts of conservation groups. Bats Conservation International is one of the ones they list. Bats Northwest. So there you go. Bats Northwest, Bats Conservation International. And here we have Bat Week. So check this out. So this is batweek.org, and they show you how to install a bat house, and there's a picture of it. So you can put a bat house on your property if you are so inclined. And that is crazy badass. Or bat ass. Huh? There we go. There we go. All right. So bats. Let's do what we can to keep them around because we need them.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make